Yes guys, I'm back in the garage, nice and cold as usual, and I thought today, after the success of the Austin Maxi, I thought I'd bring another one that won't run. Now this one has been off the road for 3 years. This chap, he brought it to me on the back of a recovery truck, so I thought I'd bring you along for the journey. We'll see what's wrong with it and we'll see if we can get it fired up today. Alrighty then, first things first. He says he charged the battery, which is good, but what else do we need? We need fuel, we need air, we need spark, and we need it to turn over. So let's go and dive in and see what is actually working and what's not. Well, this is a nice thing. I think it's been restored recently, or over the last few years anyway. Let's see what we got. We got dash lights? Nope. Battery must be off. Aha. First culprit of no start. Put your battery isolator back on. That might help. Looks pretty good under here actually. Right, we'll dive back in. We'll see if we've got dash lights. We sure do. Make sure it's in neutral. Oh, and I have checked that the oil is full. So don't worry, we've got that. Oh, fasten seatbelts just came on. That's posh, isn't it? Right, let's see if we've got a turn. 3, 2, 1. Nothing. Bit of choke. Nothing at all. Right then, the diagnosis commences. Let's go. Okay, first thing we're going to check, fuel. Fuel filter's here, and there is some in it. So let's hope that the fuel pump's actually pumping. I'm sure it will be. But what we can do, we can pop this pipe off, turn the ignition on and see if some comes out. Okay, first things first, we're going to need something to catch the fuel in. So we'll just pop this down here. When it does come out, it can squirt into the bowl because we don't want to make a big mess. Next thing, we'll just grab our pliers and pull off this fuel pipe here. And we'll be careful not to get any fuel anywhere. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, she's been on there for a while. Just move that a sec. Let's see if we can get her off. She's been on there a while. Will she move? Oh, she's a-coming. There she is. Right, a bit of fuel did come out, but let's direct her down there. And you guys can let me know if any fuel comes out. Okay, so I'm turning the ignition on in 3, 2, 1. Yep, fuel, lovely. Right, we've got fuel, on to the next one. I'll just pop our little fuel pipe back on as well. There we go, done. Right, like I said, next thing on the list is going to check for a spark, but we'll just see if there's anything obvious right now. It doesn't look like there is. That'll be the live. I mean, oh, you see how easy that came off then. This little connector doesn't look great. Let's pop that back on a little bit tighter. Okay, that's back on. Let's just go for a quick fire and see what happens, because hopefully it's not this easy. Nope, wasn't that. Looks like we got more. Oh, it just fell off again. Right, I'm going to swap that terminal out, get that on properly, and we'll try again. Okay, I've managed to get that terminal back on as it is. Give it a little tweak. I will be replacing that because it's not great at all, but it's on good enough for now. So I think the next thing we'll do, we'll check for a spark right at the spark plugs. Oh, and just while I'm digging around, as usual, I did notice something. It's always hiding. It's a Vaudrey's branded beer mat. Chuck us a little like, a comment, what you think's wrong with this thing, a little subscribe. Check out my merch store with all sorts of cool stuff just like that, and some loads of cool t-shirts and everything as well. So yeah, go and check that out. Nice one. So here we go. I'll just pull off a random spark plug lead off this big V8 motor, and I'll pop in a known good spark plug. Okay, that's better. So I'm just going to earth that out with the new spark plug, and we're going to go turn it over again and see if we've got a spark right at the plug. You ready? 3, 2, 1. That's better. 3, 2, 1. No spark. Okay, okay, we're getting somewhere. All right, next thing we're going to do is check inside the distributor cap. If you remember on the Austin Maxi video, if you've not watched it, go and check it out. It's a belter. That actually had points where you could turn the ignition on and give them a flick. But it looks like this one's got some mad old electronic ignition inside. So I think what I'm going to do is just check the condition of the rotor arm, which is right there. Check the condition of that because it doesn't look great. I'll give that a little scrape. And inside the distributor cap as well, the little terminals, they're okay, like before. Not really too worried about them. I'll give them a little scratch anyway, and we'll put it back together and see if we've got a spark. Beautiful, nice and clean. Pop that bad boy back on, like so. And we'll give these little things a little scrape as well. A little bit more of a job than the Austin Maxi, this one. This one's got twice the amount of cylinders, being a big old Triumph V8. I'm not sure what kind of engine it is. It's definitely the V8, that's without a doubt. If you know, let me know in the comments, because I'm not super familiar with these. But I know how an engine works, and I know what it needs to fire, so. Right, we'll chuck that back on. Clickety click, and other side, like that. Let's see if we've got a spark now. Okay, ignition on, and crank. Still no spark. Okay, so what we know so far is we've definitely got fuel going into the carbs. We've got no spark. We've tried the distributor cap, and still no spark. It's definitely going to be some sort of electrical issue, whether it's to do with the crappy old Piranha ignition, who knows, whether it's a live to the coil that we need, whether it's an ignition switch, who knows. Let's dive in a little bit further and we'll get this thing running. It's not that hard, surely. So I'm just going to check for a positive to the coil itself. I've got my snap-on little tester here, really good actually. As long as you earth yourself out on the car and you touch something live, it beeps without any batteries or anything. Really good thing. So what I'm going to do, I'll go and chuck the ignition on, and I'll go and touch it on the top of the coil there, see if we've got a live to the coil. Okay, so ignition on, earth myself out, and check for a live. Looks like we do have a live to the coil. Yep, definitely a live to the coil. So, what does that mean? If we've got a live to the coil, that means we are getting electricity in there, but something's telling it to not fire. So whether we've got ignition related issues inside the distributor cap with the pickup, or whether that box over there isn't telling it to fire. It's always difficult working with electronic ignition. I much prefer pointer condensers because they're way easier to work with. So I think I'll pop this spark plug back off, or chuck it back on, and I'll go and dive in a little bit deeper as to why we've not got any spark. Okay, while we're in here, I'm just going to swap this out because I'm really not happy with it at all. It's not great. The connection's shite. This is all busted. There's plenty of room to put a new connector on, so I'm just going to sniff it off and make a grand old connection. There we go, nicely crimped. Give it a double check. And on it goes. Lovely jubbly. Let's see what happens. Ta-da! She's fired up. Oh, and she's dead. Wow, okay. Wow, that is something. Wonder why that just happened. Wonder if she'll fire up again. Nope. Wow. That is weird. How on earth has that happened? Wow, that is strange. Wonder if it's something to do with that electronic ignition. So what I'm going to do is just swap out these terminals, which are all manky on that one, for some nice clean ones. We'll see if it fires up again. Trial and error, I suppose. Right, so we'll chuck one terminal on and have a nice fresh terminal on. And we'll give it a whirl. 3, 2, 1. Nope. So I've just got a little brainwave. I think I'm going to try just make sure that it's got 12 volts all the time at the coil, even when it's turning over. So I'll set this up nicely there like that with a little backlight, and we should see 12 volts, 6 volts. Why have we got 6 volts? Let's turn it over. So we've got 6 volts on ignition. Does it have some sort of little ballast resistor or something possibly? That should be full 12 volts. I mean, I know that ballast resistors do drop the voltage, but normally that goes to about 9 volts rather than 6. So if the coil's not getting the correct power, this thing works between 6 and 24 volts, I believe. 3 to 24 volts, so that's why it was giving us a false reading. Don't use that. Okay, so continuing with our diagnosis, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop off the ignition live from the key. I'm going to pop on our battery live from the battery, just like so. And I can test it again to see if we've got full 12 volts rather than 6, because if this lead here has got a dodgy connection somewhere in the ignition system, on the key, in the fuse box, then that will, obviously, if it's pulling power through that, then it's going to drop the voltage. So I'm just going to check on our multimeter, see if we've got full 12 volts, which we do. So again, in theory, this should fire up. Come on, let's see if we can get this diagnosed. And it should fire. Bam, straight up. So I'm happy that that coil is actually okay. So I think we'll leave the coil as it is, and I'll just prove that the other ignition wire isn't working properly. So I'll plug that back on. We'll go for another fire. Still nothing. We've whittled it down. We've whittled it down to the power to this. So what I'll do, I'll diagnose further with the ignition lines, see where they go, see if it's anything to do with the key, something like that. But the main aim of the game today was get this thing running. We've found out exactly why it's not running, due to this live ignition feed from the key, because as soon as we put our nice red wire on, just like that, should fire straight up. Nice. Well, we found out what it is. I'm not surprised really if it's been stood for 3 years and not fired up. If there is any electrical gremlins going on, it is a British car after all, don't forget. I'll dive in and find them and we'll fix it up properly. So yeah, it's running. Let's finish off. Here we are, fellas, finishing off with the comedy microphone once again. It's absolutely pitch black outside, but technically we did get it started, which was the main aim for the video. I think we diagnosed it down to the ignition wire from the key, something in that circuit there. Please, any auto electricians, let me know. You probably have seen this stuff in the past, any of the old boys that used to do this kind of stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think might be wrong with it. I'm going to have to diagnose it a little bit further, just to make sure that we get it fixed up completely right for the guy. This thing needs a few other bits as well. Like I said, it's been off the road for 3 years, so I'm going to check all the brakes, the tyres, give it a service. I think a couple of the ignition leads were sparking while I was trying that as well. So a full new ignition lead set, maybe even a distributor cap, and it's got a gearbox oil leak as well. But all in all, it's in pretty good condition. It just needs the right good fettle. So yeah, if you like what you see, chuck us a little subscribe, chuck us a comment down below. Let me know what you think is wrong with this thing, and I'll see you on the next one. Nice one. Okay, it's the next day, and I have been doing a little bit of digging overnight, research, etc. And apparently this does have a 6 volt, 9 volt ballast resistor that supplies the coil when it's running, but there is a bypass. I found a little relay underneath, and this is attached to the starter motor where the starter motor goes. And this is to switch its full 12 volt live feed to the coil upon starting. And what I have found is these wires were on the wrong way around. So there's a purple trigger wire and then a blue 12 volt straight to the coil. So I've swapped those round. They were on the wrong way around. So I've swapped them round. I'll pop that back up on there. And let's go see if it starts. Woo! Okay, so if our theory is correct, these wires, one of them supplies 6 volts, one supplies a 12 volts on startup. If our relay wasn't on the right way around, then it wouldn't have been sending the correct signal to this upon startup. So everything's back to normal. All the terminals are on, it's all dead nice, all dead clean. So I think we'll go for a fire up one more time. And we'll just prove that our fix has worked. Okay, so choke on, ignition on, and go. Bam! Straight up. Way! We fixed it! Fantastic.